Hello, my name is Quentin, and I was ranked number 1 as Allies and number 2 as Axis during Season 3 of Axis and Allies 1942 online. In this video, I'm going to go through my recent ranked game against a Platinum player turn for turn. My opponent went for a 6 infantry, 1 tank buy, with a standard attack on West Russia and Ukraine. He retreated from Ukraine though, after killing the bomber. This preserved the Russian tanks, but leaves Germany the option of going for a G1 Ukraine strike, which I did. All fighters and 2 units from the transport were put in Ukraine to give me about 60% odds of holding. The drawback of this is that UK gets an easy time getting a fleet up UK won, and in this game he actually captured France UK won. My buy for Germany was 11 infantry and 2 artillery. This leaves me with a good base to build my German stacks later on. For Japan 1, I went for 3 infantry and 3 transports. This immediately lets Japan go up to 4 transports for effective shuffling onto the mainland later on. I did Pearl Light and killed a UK carrier outside Egypt with 2 fighters. I also sent as many units as possible towards China, Japan 1. I usually leave 3 to 4 fighters in Kwangtung to prevent Japan or US capping it, but in this case the 2 fighters were already committed outside Persia, so I dropped that. Germany 2. My opponent went for kill Germany first, which isn't unexpected. He abandoned West Russia, which allowed me to get Karelia uncontested. Any opener where Germany pushes Russia out of West Russia, Germany 2, is a great success in my opinion. Since UK took France, UK 1, I went for a France stack when I retook it. My buy is all inf and filling out with arch, which is actually what it's going to be for the rest of the game, and I won't mention my Germany buy anymore. I decided to not go for India here, since his defense is solid. He even pulled everything back from Transjordan, which is way overkill. I get 7 ground units and a 5th transport, and send one of the ones I got Japan 1 to Thailand to grab extra income later on. I push 1 tile into Sheswan. On Germany 3, I maintained the Ukraine and France stacks, only trading West Russia and Northwest Europe this turn, even though I got unlucky in Northwest Europe. Because he pulled so much to Persia, I get an Egypt stacked for free, which will give Germany an income boost. I'm also building up the Karelia stack a bit here. The income is about 77 to 91. Income is always allied favored in the early game, but the attack power is a bit higher for Axis than usual, so I'm feeling pretty good. For Japan 3, I got the Manchuria industrial complex going up to 11 units a turn into Asia and moved my stack into Xinjiang. Off screen, an infantry is sweeping up Far East Russia. I got a bit unlucky trading Burma, so I had to keep some navy outside China to protect against the bombers. The Thailand transport picked up the 2 infantry in East Indies and is starting to grab income. My opponent did not move back into Transjordan, so I'm grabbing some Africa income. I see the big transport stack outside Canada and I breathe a sigh of relief as I realize he's going for a big Finland stack right off the bat. I start pivoting my Ukraine stack up towards Karelia. I abandon the France stack since I won't have enough ground to stack both France and Karelia long term. Another reason I felt comfortable abandoning Ukraine at this point is that I saw that they failed to retake Novosibirsk this turn, allowing me to go for a cheeky J4 Novosibirsk stack. I'm hoping to pull most of his coke stack back into Russia. I'm also continuing to grow income and I'm saving some IPCs this turn. As we can see, the Novosibirsk stack did wonders. He pulled every single unit back to Russia. This will limit trading to just France, Northwest Europe and West Russia. Limiting trading is key for Germany in Kill Germany First. This will allow it to stall out for much longer. This turn also features the first major mistake on my part. I completely forgot to grab the free income in Africa. On Japan 5, I used up the saved income from last turn to get a Kwangtung industrial complex. Japan is now fully powered at 13 units a turn. The Novgorod stack obviously has to be abandoned since he pulled everything, and I set up to trade every Russian province. Kazakh was and will be retaken by UK every turn. This will prevent me from capping Caucasus with Japan. My Thailand transport also pays a visit to Hawaii. And here we see the stacking beginning in earnest. The game is now a race between the US stack in Finland and the Japan stack. The US stack is building by about 12 units a turn. Germany is building about 11, Japan by 13, and while Russia is just building 4 to 5 units every turn. My opponent didn't keep a unit in Egypt, which somewhat offsets my mistake the previous turn. I spread out and grab income, prepping to take South Africa next turn. I noticed that my opponent is not contesting for income with Russia, so I pull units back down to Xinjiang. I take some time and calculate that I have a decent shot at the Kazakh stack next turn if I get 2 tanks in Kwangtung, so I do that. Here's the income at this point. It's pretty equal, 81 income for Axis versus 87 for Allies. The income is equalizing. In general, I'd consider Axis to be a bit ahead if the income lead is less than 10 for Allies. Here, I decided to show a full turn to show the trades. About 6 German units get traded. I arbitrarily decided to keep a minimum of 20 infantry and artillery in Germany to prevent the France stack. As a result, the number of units going out to Poland towards Karelia this turn is down to 7. Africa is mostly kept. Kazakh is stacked at 55% odds. I was pretty nervous about the 1-2 punch with Russia and then UK. In that situation, I would have pulled part of the German Karelia stack to cap Russia. It would have been an interesting variation, but it's pretty dicey. We see, luckily for me though, he pulled everything back to Russia, even leaving Caucasus empty and allowing Germany to cap it. At this point, my opponent finally realized that I couldn't stack France and starts sending 8 UK units a turn into France and Northwest Europe. This effectively doubles the number of German units getting traded off each turn. I only sent 4 infantry to Poland this turn. The Kazakh stack pivots to Persia, killing 8 infantry and 1 AA for only 2 casualties. India is dead zone at this point. I tried to trade Caucasus for income, but got unlucky. I also get a 6th transport to trade Africa. Since my opponent hasn't traded Baltic states at all, I decided to try sending some infantry through this shortcut to prolong the Karelia stack. At this point, Africa is mostly cleaned up and the bonus G income has ended. He dishes India and completely sends everything into Burma. I wipe Burma stack with only 1 casualty, cap India and Transjordan, and restack Kazakh. I cap South Africa with Japan and prepare to grab more income in Egypt. Instead of buying additional industrial complexes, I'm using excess income to buy tanks in Manchuria. These are going to be sent to Karelia. On Germany 10, unit flow to Karelia is starting to dry up, and it's also starting to strategic bomb Germany to reduce income further. I think I forgot to move the UK fighters from Finland to Russia. I see the favorable odds, and since I won't get any reinforcements next turn due to wiping Burma last turn, I decide to go for it. Odds are about 65% if the AA misses, 60% if it hits once, or 55% if it hits twice. I go in and the attack fails miserably. I lost 95 IPC worth of units for a mere 55 killed. 2 AA hits combined with a below average attack roll. I curse my bad luck, but decide to try something novel. I retreat to Archangel to cover the Karelia stack against the 1-2 punch with UK and US. Not much of note happening here. I fail my trade of Northwest Europe. Russia gets extra income this turn since so many provinces are left empty after the failed attack. The Archangel stack is no longer holdable, so I abandon it. The tanks are sent to Karelia, and the rest is spread out to try to limit the value of strafes. Both West Russia and Archangel is dead zoned by the Karelia stack, and I hope that the pressure from these stacks will pin him to Russia and prevent him from wiping my units in Kazakh. The Karelia stack is now reliant on Japan reinforcements to stay. This can be problematic since I would need to leave German units behind when I retreat to prevent UK from wiping the J tanks afterwards. Here on Japan 12 is offering me a 70% on Russia, but I'm wary, and since I already committed to holding Karelia this turn, and because I don't want to get diced again, and I instead set up for next turn and get 4 fighters in Kwangtung and India. The income is 97 to 71 at this point. He didn't contest Africa income for some reason, so it's pretty dominant Axis lead at this point. My opponent dishes Russia, but this means that Japan no longer has to commit any troops to capture it. I set up for a WC win, and his best shot, as far as I could see, is doing a 1-2 punch on Karelia, and he has about 1 to 2% odds of success. It is at this point that my opponent resigns. Overall, I think this game shows a pretty textbook Japanese play. and it's a nice example of why going straight for Finland stack as allies can be counterproductive. If this video gets good feedback, I may show how I would wear down Germany in a future video. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching.